What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, I wanted to go ahead and put this commentary together a little while ago, but I knew that the Call of Duty player base doesn't really care too much about larger scaled game modes. They mostly care about either Warzone or the multiplayer experience, But in my personal opinion, one of the best parts of Modern Warfare 2019, actually the only game mode that pushed me through playing that game for the full year, besides Search and Destroys. Playing Search and Destroy with the homies is just next level in Modern Warfare 2019. But when it comes to Respawn, Ground War was the only way I can enjoy that experience. And I was really hoping that Ground War Part 2, coming in Modern Warfare 2, would enhance upon that formula. Now, my expectations were low because I didn't really think they're going to focus too much on that game mode. Because in 2019, with all honesty, if 6v6 was better, I would probably play that more. But since it was so bad, I needed a different Respawn mode to play. But realistically, in 2019, the maps weren't really made for a ground war experience. From the ground up, they always had Warzone in mind, and that's just simply how it is. So even though it was fun to play, and you could find some enjoyable spots to, vibe in and get a bunch of kill feeds going on, at the end of the day, sometimes it felt a little awkward because, obviously, the maps weren't made for ground war. But in Modern Warfare 2, I heard some information that these maps from the ground up were built for ground war and then later on introduced into different experiences. So when I heard this news, I was thinking to myself, this is going to be absolutely nuts. I need to see what this is all about. Well, I'm glad to say that Ground War 2 is completely phenomenal. I mean, next level in every possible way. Battlefield 2042 is absolutely put to shame. A Call of Duty development team. I wouldn't say 2019 had better Ground War, or a better experience compared to Battlefield. Not in any way, shape, or form. Ground War was fun, but Battlefield still felt like Battlefield, and 2019 Ground War was just, an easier way to play, Respawn without having to worry about the stupidly loud footsteps and, the horrible spawn systems and all this stuff. It was just an escape. But for Ground War and Modern Warfare 2, and I'm not saying this out of any bias because I know I've been making Call of Duty content for the longest now. You might just think I'm a Call of Duty fanboy, but I'm a hardcore fanboy of the Battlefield franchise as well, even though I've been let down for the past couple of introductions. I love the Battlefield franchise. I love them both for their own unique perspectives on FPS. I truly do. But my goodness, when I tell you that this is everything that Battlefield should be, minus the destruction, because obviously there's not much destruction in this. That's the only thing that's missing for me. That's the only thing that's missing that would completely top this over any Battlefield game. But honestly, with all the lack of destruction in 2042, you know what? Honestly, they're both head and head right now. This game mode is outstanding. As a kid, when I was playing any of these games, I would always sit there and look at these buildings that, would only have one door open at the front entrance, but have all these layers still, massive skyscrapers, but you can only go in one way. And I'm always thinking to myself, man, I can't wait until I can play a game where all of this is accessible. There's own unique different rooms everywhere. It's different layouts in these buildings. It's different styles to actually play throughout. And Modern Warfare 2019 almost did that when it came to the city map, even though I despised that map and I always skipped it. But that one building, I remember everybody was talking about it on social media, how many flights of stairs you had to climb. It wasn't a good thing, but, it was one of the biggest things that we could climb in like, pretty much gaming history at this point in an FPS title without losing extreme frames. Well, here we are in Ground War 2. Pretty much every single building is stupid. When I say stupidly detailed, I truly mean it. When you see a skyscraper, you're going to climb and see every single level of that skyscraper. And it's not just one of them, it's every single one of them across the map. The map that you're watching right here is actually my favorite in the whole Ground War experience at the moment until they release more maps. I also like the border map as well. But I like this map because it's smaller, it's more condensed, it's more infantry gameplay, and all of the buildings are just, like I said, they're so detailed. You can literally go to any floor, you can post up in any area, and breaching and clearing is just so intense. You guys remember, what was it called, the Clean Sweep mission from Modern Warfare 2019, whatever it was called, Clean House, I forget. It was my favorite mission of the whole game, and I wanted them to put in a side experience in Spec Ops that kind of, simulated that. But honestly, they low-key did it in multiplayer here. Well, I don't want to say multiplayer, but Ground War. It's absurd. Having a full squad of friends, you don't have to camp, you don't have to play slow. You could easily breach into buildings, and just sweep and clear all of these houses, clear out campers. The experience is something that I feel like Battlefield fans have been asking for a long time now. We want more infantry-styled maps, more maps that have detail and stuff like this. And I know there's going to be the argument of saying, well, there's so many layers, there's going to be so many campers, so many windows to camp in and stuff like that. But like I said, I don't have a problem with it. You know, I don't mind grabbing an SMG and hauling ass through a building with a bunch of friends and just clearing that out. It's not an issue with me. And with the amount of UAVs that are constantly going, you know, obviously because you have a lot of teammates playing around, stuff like that, and all the vehicles that are going around, you can constantly spawn in helicopters and come into buildings from the top down or from the bottom up. You know, the options are limitless. You can even come in from the side from a random window on a different floor and breach up in, you know, something that they would never expect. You know, the possibilities are endless. And talking about the vehicle play, it's perfect. Once again, it's exactly what Battlefield fans have been asking for. To allow infantry players to play infantry and let vehicle players play vehicle. You know, if I don't want to get shot every 5 seconds by a tank, I should have options to get around it. And obviously, if I mess up and, you know, I go into certain territories, I try to cross the street at the wrong time, yeah, blast me up, you know what I'm saying? But there should be easy ways for me as an infantry player to avoid this obstacle if it really truly comes down to it. And of course, you know, vehicle player, you don't want to be boring, so it has to be flags on the outskirts somewhere where vehicles will be a little bit more overpowered, but there should be sections of the map always that are designated to infantry. Vehicles can still, you know, roam through there and find people to kill, but at the same time, infantry players should be able to back up and get away while still being able to engage with other players. They did it perfectly in Ground War 2. They did an amazing... I can't believe this crap. And the helicopter... You can drive it, get out of it, and it'll stay hovering exactly where you are and stay as a permanent spawn beacon. Something that is so simplistic, but something that would have helped Battlefield ages ago. You can even stay in and shoot from the top of it. You can pull a sniper rifle out, you can have an LMG, and you can just post up in the helicopter floating in the sky and shoot out of it. And obviously, it's an easy counter. Take a rocket and shoot it. It's not moving. It's sitting right there. But, you know, if you want a permanent spawn beacon, but you don't want to sit there, you know, and just fly and be bored out of your mind, you can put it there, leave, and enjoy the fun, and then continuously spawn back and get out, you know, spawn back in, get out. So simple, right? Something that, you know, you would think anybody could come up with, but DICE refuses to do anything of this sort. The playstyle in this is great. The team play is great. You know, obviously, it's missing the traditional class system from Battlefield, so you're not going to have your medics and engineers and stuff like that. The team roles. But I would say as just a game mode that can give you a little time, because there's also World War III, which is also a fantastic game that you should try out. It's free to play and it's in open beta right now. I'm actually streaming it pretty much every single day at this point, so you guys can catch my live stream and check it out for yourself live and in action. The link to that is down in the description of this video. I do over on Twitch. But, you know, if you want another game that's a little bit more polished, you know, AAA status, this right here is it, man. I'm not even lying to you. Even when it just comes down to the atmosphere, I think a lot of Battlefield fans, even though near futuristic seems cool, we are still craving a little bit more of an urban environment, you know? Running through these streets of towns and cities is just so immersive, and it's a feeling towards it that honestly just makes modern FPS gaming so enjoyable. And Battlefield really missed that mark, not just with their time period, but also with the map design in general. You know, the maps are just, they're not too large, some of them, but the way they're spread out with no cover, it doesn't seem like it makes any logical sense to even run around, because if you run around, vehicles will destroy you and you'll just get shot by people who are using long-range weapons. It wasn't really any fun ways for infantry players to navigate the streets or navigate the areas of these maps without getting gunned down. They did a phenomenal job across the board when it comes to Ground War 2, and I gotta say, I'm impressed. Every single portion of this game of Modern Warfare 2 is actually pretty unique and fun. I enjoyed my 6v6 experience. Hopefully that stays the same. We'll see, you know, when the game comes out if I still feel the same. I love the Ground War. And when I hear about DMZ and I see these maps in Ground War, all I can think is just, wow, you know, DMZ is going to be ridiculous. You can even see the natural team play with the clip that just happened where my teammate threw the drill charge on the wall to get the camper out of the room. I charged through the door to engage. You know, things like that just naturally go in this experience. So don't be worried about the campiness of all of these floors and all these rooms. Trust me, it flows. It flows very nicely. We just have to hope that Infinity Ward gets their crap together and fixes the stuff the community needs when it comes to 6v6, you know? That's one of the main reasons why I never touched 6v6 in 2019, and I only played Ground War because Ground War offered a more enjoyable, fast-paced experience. You know, because of no dead silence or, you know, extremely loud footsteps, no working minimap, 6v6 was playable. You know, I can compete, but it was boring. You know, you get long, slow matches instead of, you know, being able to be a little bit more aggro when you want to be. But in Ground War, that wasn't a problem. You know, everything's loud, everything is blowing up, everything's booming. Footsteps isn't a problem in Ground War, you know. A minimap, not a problem. Everybody has a UAV 24/7 in the sky, so you're constantly seeing people and constantly hunting all the time. And, you know, you just get used to it. It's a different experience, is what I should say. And now with the perfected map design and perfected gameplay, it makes Ground War even more enjoyable. I don't want to ditch 6v6 this year, guys. It's fun. I like it. But it gets pretty slow at times. Even on the small-sized maps, it's a pretty slow experience. I have to be real with you. All because of the things they refused to change. So we'll see how the future holds for this game, but for any Battlefield player who's looking for something, oh man, this is something special right here. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. Bumps, I hate it. Leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new, enjoy the content. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me? There's two ways to do so. I have a Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also, want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Link that is in the description as well. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.